Buddhists are looking at me to be more Buddhist. They wonder why I fill my pages with this intense longing and love, while they search for a pithy poem about a cloud. The hard-hearted lovers, the ones so jaded that they'd have you believe you should be too, are concerned that my words are diluted. They twist their faces into sour citrus smiles at the thought of another sonnet. They'll all think what they will. But if you're reading these poems and you don't see the Dharma on fire, well, friend, I invite you to look a little closer. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another video here in my series showcasing all of the different sections of my newest book, From the Back of a Thirsty Camel. I come to you from a really special and sacred place. I come to you from Indian Fort Theater, actually literally in the amphitheater itself, here right outside of Berea, Kentucky. It's one of the hottest days so far of the summertime here in this Kentucky summer, and I felt like it was the perfect time and the perfect day for me to come out into the world, come to this special sacred place, and share with you a little bit about Dharma on Fire, which is one of the 6 sections of From the Back of a Thirsty Camel, my book, my newest book. So Dharma on Fire is a special section for me. You know, they're all special in their own way. Dharma on Fire comes from my experience as a spiritual practitioner. You know, I've been a Buddhist and a Buddhist teacher for over 10 years now, and I could take a lot of time, it would take a lot of time to share with you how deeply I resonate with Buddhism. It feels like the practice of my heart. It makes the most sense to me. But there's another part of me. The other part of me is rebellious and really doesn't care a lot for pomp and circumstance and tradition. This part of me kind of looks out into the world and sees how so many of us kind of latch on to our practices and then they stagnate. Really, they just become another thing that we deify. They just become another god. I have absolutely deified my Buddhist practice. I've turned it into a god in my life. And that kind of thing, to be completely honest about it, I feel like some revulsion about that. Oh, I don't want that in my life. I want to set the Dharma, which is a word often given to the Buddhist teachings or other teachings. I want to set the Dharma on fire in my life. And so the poems in this section kind of come from that place of home in Buddhist teachings. You know, my sense of home in the teachings hasn't gone anywhere. I expect it'll be my path for the rest of my life. But that part of me that doesn't care for tradition, that part of me that sees the folly in turning our paths into our own personal gods, putting them up on a pedestal or deifying them, those two parts kind of come together into this rebel Buddhist section in Thirsty Camel called Dharma on Fire. At the end of the introduction to this section, I wrote, "These are the words of path, the songs of a seeker. These are the words of a rebel Buddhist who long ago grew tired of himself, of the worn-out ways of this world, and of the old, antiquated tactics that so many of us employ in our frantic struggle to wake up." So, yeah, that says it for me. And I'd like to share a couple poems from Dharma on Fire, because I'm on fire for this work. I'm on fire for ecstatic poetry. I'm on fire for sharing it with you and teaching ecstatic poetry and these ideas in workshop and retreat settings. I'm on fire for change and transformation. So you see all of these elements kind of swirl together, and I hope that the section Dharma on Fire can kind of comprise all of that. These aren't your grandparents' ecstatic poems. This isn't the Rumi that they were reading. So the first poem I'd like to read from this section is a poem that is definitely kind of derived from that very purely Buddhist, the Buddha nature that I experience in my practice. It's called Projectionist, and it goes like this. What would you become if you could be everything that you are behind the veil of your own illusions? The one you call I is 1,000 still photographs projected onto a screen. It is a convincing drama. But there is a projectionist who sits silently in the booth above and watches from behind the spinning reels. Today, climb the stairs and find the one who shines the light at the source. This is a section in Thirsty Camel that I think contains a lot of my personal kind of favorite poems about spirituality or about the spiritual path. So that poem, Projectionist, very much comes from that part of my path, that part of my life. Here's a poem called Two Poems for Seekers. And this poem is a little bit of the rebel heart coming forward. It's really the same idea. The idea is, what's so wrong with being a seeker? I love being a seeker. I love people who are seekers, and I seek to support their paths and honor them and celebrate them. The first part of this poem is called Condensation, and it's this idea in very brief form. And the second part of this poem is it's me telling it like it is. So I'll let the words speak for themselves. This is called Two Poems for Seekers. Part 1. Condensation. What's so bad about being a seeker? I'll take my longings and glimpses of God any day over the concreted mind that has it all figured out. The second part is called Nowhere. What's so bad about being a seeker? I'll take my longings. They prompt me to unfurl the sail and travel the yet known waters of my heart. Your longing has brought so many faces before you. Look deeply, dear one, and see how each of them has been your most valued teacher, even when it ended in pain. Tell me, how many of man's creations might have never been without the mighty and mysterious call of human longing? I'll take my occasional glimpses of God. They teach me that I dwell in but one realm of the real, half asleep and ever waking to the next. You will meet those along the way who would tell you that all you are seeking is already yours. But if you are wise, it will be clear that they're really just in a big rush. So slow down, seekers. Feel the depth of your longing in the echoing call of the divine. Take up your walking sticks and backpacks full of provisions for the long journey ahead. Recognize with me that the end of the path is something that we create in our striving to not be nowhere. So from the heat of the summer, in a special place that I'm happy I get to share with you, and from my heart, and from my love of spiritual practice, from a place of rebellion and fire. I hope you've enjoyed these reflections on the Dharma on fire. I share them from my heart for each of you. Thank you.